Hey, are you tired of leads going nowhere? What if I told you there is a way to turn every lead into real opportunity? This is all done by building a lead generation system that works for you. In real estate, it's not about how many leads you get. Well, kinda. It's about how effectively you work them. And today we're going to break down exactly how you can set up a sustainable lead generation pipeline that guarantees consistent results and drives your business forward. Hey, everybody, my name is Justin Letheby, the E Professor, and today we are going to talk about your lead generation pipeline. This is so important to understand for our business because when we are looking at growing our business, we need to make sure we have systems in place that help us take that next step, right? We got to get them through the buyer's process, right? I'm not talking about your buyers. I'm talking about the buying process. So there are steps and systems we need to understand, interact, and make sure we can take it to that next level. So we're going to talk. It's about essentially, I always like 5 steps. So we're going to talk about what I think are basically the 5 steps or 5 stages in a pipeline type of thing. So first is that initial contact, whether you are lead generating from online purposes, one of the things that I like to do, or you've gone to a networking event, or you have door knocked, whatever that lead format is, there is definitely a way that you need to contact or collect that information. If you are not doing this online, you are going to probably be collecting business cards or phone numbers and email addresses, stuff like that. But if you are doing this online, you're going to use tools that are called lead magnets, right? These are on your website or pages you're using from your website that will give items of value for free. You have free home evaluations, downloadable guides, quick videos about how to do something, right? These are considered lead magnets. Now, when you do this, these lead magnets, the only way they're going to get that information is to give you something in return, like their name, their email, their phone number, whatever it may be, whatever it's going to take to get that stuff sent to them. They're going to give it to you. And it has to be real. Otherwise, they can't get the value. And you have that. So you got to build that first. And then once you do that, you are going to start marketing that lead magnet, whether you start doing social media posts, do a podcast, TikToks, whatever it may be, you're going to put that out there. And then that landing page is where they're going to opt into that information. Now, I will tell you some CRMs are already starting to build these lead magnets in. Actually, most are building these lead magnets in because it is a useful situation for you to use. And then you can store that information automatically. So once they go in, you go into what's essentially the next step, right? Which is considered a lead nurture. But before we get to the lead nurture, the second stage of a pipeline, I'm going to tell you one simple thing. And that one simple thing is this: we need to have systems in place that will respond quickly. Stats typically say we got to be within seconds to get that lead. I don't know if it has to be quite that, but I will tell you the quicker you respond, the better the conversion is. And there is absolutely no doubt about that. So you're going to want to have some sort of automated email, text, chat box or anymore with ChatGPT, not ChatGPT, but with AI, there are automated AI chatbots out there that do make some of this interesting. Tools like ManyChat are actually building some of this in place for you. So you have systems out there that can help you build really, really quick information. So that gives us step 2. Step 2 is going to be, or not step 2, stage 2 is going to give you what you got to do next. And so once you have them, they've just said yes to something, right? They said yes to getting a marketing flyer from you or whatever it may be. But that next step is going to be huge because we have to have a follow-up program, or rather in this stage, we're calling it lead nurturing. Those lead nurturing programs are going to be sent out there. Again, whether it's text message, email, depending on what you're doing and how you're working with them, you need to have regular messaging tools communicating with these customers slash clients. Depending on how much information they gave, depends on what they are for us. But this content should be valuable information and something specific to the reason what they just signed up for, right? Maybe it's a market report of the area, a buyer's guide, a tip sheet. Maybe it's something along the lines of how to do something, right? But whatever it is, you want to be consistent with that information and you want to have it set up for a while. You want to build these campaigns so you stay top of mind. These are extremely important. They are extremely helpful to make sure this is what's happening for you and your business. Social media, by the way, could be one of those consistent touches out there, because if you get them to join your business page, things like that, that could work. But you want to, and the goal for all of this is to make sure you aim yourself. Sorry about that. You want to make sure you aim yourself to be the trusted resource, that go-to resource in there. One of the things I always challenge people on here with this lead nurturing is two really simple thought processes in here. One, the thought press number one is Google did a research a long time ago that talked about lead generation and kind of really staying top of mind. And they built what they called what was the zero moment of truth. That is that moment out there that when you are talking to somebody, or rather they're not, take a step back, when your consumers are out there and they see something like a for sale sign or an open house, that's when they started thinking about selling or buying. And that's what they want you to be there, right? You're there. Well, that's 100% accurate. What I am going to challenge everybody is you want to be the pre-zero moment of truth. You want to be that person that's there that that immediately they're thinking of you. They're always doing this, and they hear somebody and they say your name, right? It's that instinct, it's that gut reflex. The other part to think about is, again, from Dr. Robert Cialdini, a really good book called Influence. I love this book. You hear me reference it a lot, where I call it the rule of reciprocity. It's essentially that when you start giving these items value, they want to return value in kind. And that could mean a referral. That could mean them working with you. It could be whatever it means, but that's what you're trying to do. Now, it's got to be authentic. You got to be giving these things because you care and you want to help and you want to have these people grow, but that's what's going to happen. So that's stage two. Stage three would be qualifications. Not every lead is equal. Some are testing the market. Some were just curious. Some, it was a seat of the pants decision and they're not in anywhere near that kind of situation. I will tell you, for the most part, by the way, when we go through this process, you're going to get business through this day one. But this process, all processes in lead generation, usually take about 12 months before you get any real momentum. So you do want to give this a fair shot. But with that being said, you want to be able to kind of score these folks, people that you are communicating. They text you back. You know, that's a high quality. You hear people saying ABC, 1, 2, 3, red, green, yellow, right? You have these different systems. Usually they're levels of 3s. Pick them and put them in that level. A lot of CRMs are actually starting to build these systems in there based on the engagement. Maybe they're looking at properties, maybe they're not. Maybe they're responding to you, how fast they do it. They're starting to put that in there. Again, with AI, this becomes really useful for you. You should never ignore any of the leads. They will pop when they pop, but I do want you to know that probably your best energy is going to be spent on the highest level priorities. These are the ones that respond quickly. They're showing signs that they're ready to move. Don't ignore them. Move forward. But you can help working on the other ones, start maybe slower touches or just let the system do their things. I think focus on your efforts, high priority leads. Maybe you do a personal reach out, and where the colder leads, you just send those systematic emails that matter to them, that keeping you front of mind and stuff like that. So that's your qualifications. Stage 4, working with those active clients. Let's start moving those conversations from passive conversations to active conversations. Really quite what it is. We have to have consistent updates and communications. Maybe we're showing them more properties. Maybe we're giving quicker updates on the market, what's happening. Put a reminder in there to do it as a quicker basis in the system to make that work for you. Also, start encouraging them to take action. Start having what are known as CTAs, call to actions. These steps out here will help you make sure you take those next active steps to move forward. Tell them it's time, right? Give them urgency to the matter. If it's a buyer, make sure you're giving listings. For a seller, let them know what's going on in the market. Let them know what's going on in their neighborhood, the offers that are going on in the area, right? We can't know the offers per se, but we can let them know what's going on and how much transactions out there. And again, always personalize them based on the stage that they're at. And then last but not least, and I kind of talked about this in a video a while back, follow up and close. When the transaction ends, we are not done. It is literally the beginning or the next beginning on here. So you're going to want to make sure you send a thank you note, do a closing gift, something along those lines. You continue to offer to give value past a sale. I love it when I have new buyers, even new sellers, and they had a search set up for them in my MLS. I continued to give that search for a couple of reasons. One, they want to know they got a value in the property. They want to know what's going on in their market. Two, there's just a curiosity instinct, right? So I just let them do it. Eventually, it kind of works itself out, and the system tells me when it's done. And either I renew it if they're still actively looking, or I just let it go. And it's a great touch for my clients to know what's going on. Again, you can always just continue to give updates for your clients and things like that. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. A lot of times, as commonly said, there should be about 3 times you ask for a referral. Once they said to working with you, once you wrote a contract, and once after closing. That's 3 times that in theory, they have said yes to you and you like you just want to get that one more yes and get them out there. You can build client appreciation programs, stuff like that. Again, networking events. Again, go back to the previous video because it does tell you a lot about that. I'll put that video here to do in place. So just make sure you have that there. And then set the reminders in your system to check in, whether it's monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, whatever your system believe is for that. There are books that will tell you anywhere from probably 8 times a year to about 40 times a year. You should talk to your client. You got to figure out what makes sense for you and what's going on and what you're comfortable with. So we just talked about the 6 stages. We talked about the initial contact, how to build lead magnets and convert them. Once you convert them, how to lead nurture them. Once you lead nurture them into the system, qualify them, give them a grading system of whatever you talked about. Then start working with them. Once you have converted them, work with them, be active with them, communicate with them consistently. And then last but least, follow up and start that process all over again. It's quite literally what we're dealing with in this system. So continue to use that and work in that area. So by breaking your leads down into these stages, you can build more consistent and predictable business. Think of it like a funnel. This is literally funnel building 101. Each stage narrows and gets you closer to converting that lead into a client. When you know exactly where a lead is in your pipeline, it helps you focus on the right actions at the right time. I am going to say one other thing to that statement. It will also tell you what pipelines are building you the most success, and you can spend more energy, more time, and maybe, depending on how you're doing it, more money. Now, what I want you guys to do, let's get out there, start organizing those pipelines, start building systems. Again, I do have a system for helping you do this stuff. Sign up for it. Come out there and do it. Break it down into stages, start building those responses and follow-ups. A lot of CRMs already do that for you, so you can just start right now. And remember, if you want to dive deeper into a full-scale lead generation, stay tuned for my upcoming, or depending on when you see this, current real estate business blueprint class. We'll take you to the next level together.